Errol Spence utilizes one of the most peculiar tactics I've ever seen from a southpaw boxer, and that tactic is his tendency to not seek lead foot dominance on his orthodox opponents. If you do not already know, the lead foot of a southpaw and orthodox fighter line up with one another, which also means the lead hands also line up with one another. The common strategy in these matchups for either fighter is to step to the outside of your opponent's lead foot to position yourself at an angle at which you can punch around your opponent's lead hand or between their gloves. However, Spence for the most part chooses to fight his orthodox opponents with his lead foot right in front of his opponent's lead foot, where neither guy has an advantage. We've seen him do this against Lamont Peterson, we've seen him do this against Mikey Garcia, and we've seen him do this to Danny Garcia, among others. Now, why Spence would choose to do this, I believe, comes down to several reasons. The biggest reason, I think, is energy efficiency. Many southpaws will not punch unless they step to a dominant angle. By popping the jab from right where he is, Spence saves the energy he would be using to step around so that he could throw more jabs and outwork Danny Garcia the way he did. This, combined with the fact that he would jab from maximum distance, makes him much harder to step around and counter him with his lead foot in the way. As you can see, Danny Garcia is protecting his chin with his hands, and Spence just pops the jab right over the hands to his eye. He doesn't even have to step around to set up the shot. The eye is a valuable target, not every punch has to be aimed at the chin. Against Mikey Garcia, Spence utilized his jab to the lead hand of Mikey Garcia to offset his rhythm and hold him at long distance. Danny Garcia isn't a rhythm-setting boxer, so Spence foregoed standing in front and jabbing the lead hand in favor of standing in front and beating up his eye, which is something I like to do myself. Of course, if Garcia raises his lead hand to defend his eyes, Spence could shoot the jab down to the body, and doesn't even have to step around to a dominant angle. And this is what makes Errol Spence unique compared to other southpaws. Instead of attacking around his orthodox opponent's lead hand, he primarily attacks above or below the lead hand, and even attacks the lead hand itself. Of course, this isn't to say Spence can't establish dominant angles on his orthodox opponents. Quite the opposite. Once Spence controlled Garcia with the jab enough to keep him in place, he would then commit to his attacks at an angle to look to set up a left hand. Danny Garcia's best moments in the fight came whenever Spence committed with a left hand that he could counter from the same side with his own right hand. And that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you all for watching. And if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.